Hi, today I'm showing you 4 ways to save any animation or effect in DaVinci Resolve, so you never have to recreate anything from scratch ever again. Okay, let's start with the first method, which are power bins. To enable those, go to Media Pool, find those 3 dots, and here choose Show Power Bins. You'll see a new section appear on your left side, so head over to Masters folder. And if you've never used power bins, you won't have anything here, but I really recommend to set up folders inside here and organize them by frame rate. Because if you'll, for example, drag a 60 FPS animation onto 30 FPS timeline, it will just play it back wrong and not as you created that, because it will be 2 times slower. Okay, so let's actually save something here. I have this word by word animation that we created in one of my previous tutorials. You can check it out, link will be somewhere here. I will just create a new bin. And inside here, I will also do some organization. By this, I mean another folder, so everything is nice and organized. And now before we drag anything, let's just quickly rename this. Select the layer that you want to save, go to the inspector, and here click File, and now give it a name. Then to save it, just drag it into Power Bins. And that's it. Now it's available here, but also in every other project automatically. You can store pretty much anything here. It just has to be placed on a layer. So for example here, I created 2 transitions. One is made entirely in the edit page and second one is Fusion based. And as you can see, I created another folder. I will drag both of these animations here. And now, even though I'm in another project, I just simply need to go to the power bins, find my folder, and I just have transitions that I made available here. In the power bins, you can also save, for example, images, also sound effects, music. Just drag and drop it and it's available in every project. Second method is mostly used to save more than one layer, and it's using dynamic project switching. Okay, to enable this, just go to the project manager, which is this little home icon here. Right click on any blank space and choose dynamic project switching. That will allow you to open multiple projects at the same time and switch between them. So now I'll open another project that I want to import something from. And as you can see, I built this nice kinda hook, and I just want to copy all of those 4 layers. Select them, Ctrl or Command C. And now, because we enabled the dynamic project switching, we can click here and choose our previous project. As you can see here, I already have some kind of video, an adjustment clip, and also a transition here. And if I would just click Command V or Ctrl V to paste all of this, it will overlap on our already existing layers and it will kind of destroy it. But you can actually control on which tracks you want it to be pasted. Basically, you have to disable every other track. So just go here on the left side and disable all the other tracks. Quick pro tip, if you have a lot of layers, you can just basically hold Option or Alt on your keyboard and press the timeline that you want to be enabled. That will disable all of the other tracks. Now just paste what you copied. And as you can see, it's here without interfering with our clips. Also, if you want to enable them back again, you don't have to manually click on all of those. You can just hold Shift and click on any disabled track. That will enable all of these. Okay, now for the third method, which is saving nodes as .setting files. This one works best for Fusion page, but with one exception that I'll get to in a second. As you can see here, I built this really cool circle logo animation, and let's say I want to save it. In order to do this, just select all the nodes that you want to save. And I'm not selecting my logo because other projects won't have access to this. So I'll just connect a new logo every time I create a new animation. Now let's right click on any node, go to Settings, Save All As. I will quickly give it a name. And for now, I will just save it on my desktop. Now you have 2 options. Either create some kind of folder on your PC where you'll just store animations like these, because if I just drag the .setting file, as you can see, it just has all the information. Or the second method is to save it in macros folder to access it quickly in Fusion page. To find this folder in Fusion page, just double click on those numbers here. On this list, go to Path Map and search for macros folder. Select this and click this little folder icon here. That will open File Explorer if you're on Windows and Finder if you're on Mac. On Mac we just also have to right click and press Show in Finder. And we got our folder, so just go to Desktop, copy this file and paste it to Macros folder. Now if you're in Fusion page, click Shift Space to activate a Select tool and type in the name that we just created. If you click Add, it will just add the node structure that we saved. And of course it works. If I just connect it, it works exactly the same. The animation is saved, every setting of each node is saved, so that's really cool. Now for saving it on the edit page, I said that there is one exception. These are text effects. Basically you can just have your text plus in the edit page, but it must be the one that has the template node on the Fusion page. And the important thing that if you want to save it that way, it can't have any nodes after it. So for example, if we add a transform or a drop shadow, it will just cut them out. So any animations or adjustments that you want to save must be made on the template node or before it, as here with the instance. Okay, and to save it, just select the text nodes, go setting. If it's one node, you will have only option Save As, but I will click Save All As because I have two nodes. And I will just give it a name and save it on my desktop. But now, instead of dragging it to Macros folder, go to the Effects tab, Templates, Edit, and click those three dots and Show Folder. That will open up the Edit folder for you. Now just go to Titles, and I recommend creating some kind of folder to organize it better. Now just copy this file and paste it here. Okay, and now if we go to Edit page, go to Effects, Titles, and search for the name that we just gave it, we'll have exactly this text effect. And it works perfectly fine. So I'll just quickly show you what happens if you have something after the text node. So basically it seems fine, but if we go to Fusion page, as you can see I added drop shadow after, and it was normally here, but what DaVinci does is it disconnects any node after and it connects the template node to the media out every time. It also does the same thing with other animations. So I tried saving this circle animation on the edit page, but what it does, it also disconnects everything from the media out because it automatically searches for the template node, which is the text node. So overall, I don't really recommend saving anything but text this way because you'll just have to manually go to Fusion every time and reconnect things. Okay, now before we get to the fourth method, I have a quick bonus for you. You probably already know that creating text presets is really time consuming and not that easy. So instead of manually creating hundreds of those animations, you can have it all in one plugin made by my friend Rystal. The preset is called TypeFlow and it's really simple to use. You just have to drag this plugin onto your timeline. Right here, just type your text, change the font, size, adjust tracking. You can also enable drop shadow from here. But the real magic happens in the animation tab. Here you can create hundreds of custom animation combinations. You can, for example, make it only in or only out animation. You can make it letter by letter, word by word, or the whole line animations. Add a bounce animation in just literally one click. Control a delay in between letters or words. And here you can make your custom combinations. For example, let's say instead of fade, I want to add the zoom. And in literally one click, my animation turns out to something like this. We also have the rotation, blur effect, and as mentioned before, the fade effect. Just simply play with those and you can achieve literally any animation you want. Now, the great thing about TypeFlow is that it's optimized for really fast playback. As you can see, even changing all the animations doesn't affect the playback. It's really smooth because in the viewer it's kinda worse quality, but once you render it, it's perfectly in full resolution as you intended. Also for the heavy effects such as blur, it plays it back for you without this blur, so every time you just get the smoothest playback. Here are some animations that I created in literally just seconds using that plugin. And we can even combine this with our first method, for example. Let's say you made the animation that you really like and you know that you're going to be using it a lot. You can just basically drag it to your power bins and use it instantly in every project. Now, literally as we speak, Rystal is making a new update of TypeFlow. That is the version 1.6. And let me tell you, it got even better. First of all, we got an update on how the animation tab look, and it's much cleaner and more readable. Also, we got a new animation which is called Flicker, and it looks like this. Really cool in my opinion. But the best part is the new Styles tab. If we just simply turn it on, we have access to all the fancy effects such as glow, inner shadow, light sweep, and we also even have free preset effects. It looks really cool and I'm gonna be using a lot of this. Also, all of the text animation I used in this video were actually made using exactly this tool. So I highly recommend you check it out. The link will be in the description. Now the last method, which are macros. At first, I would mostly recommend them to create some kind of effects, not really generators. So if you have like text presets or some kind of rarely used animations, I would just use previous methods. But let's say here I created this kind of monitor look and it's actually perfect for this. So at first I wanted to acknowledge that you can make macros for the edit page, just basically drag and drop from the effects tab. Or you can make also macros for the edit page. As you can see here is the same thing. Okay, so I have something here just in the background so you can see everything. But here I created this kind of glowy, dreamy effect, let's say, which includes few nodes. So in order to save a macro, you just have to select all of the nodes, right click, go to macros and create macro. And now because I'm actually in DaVinci Resolve 21, which is the brand new version, I have the new macro editor. I highly recommend you to also download this version because it has a bunch of cool features and the macro editor is actually one of them. So let's start from the left. Here you have your thumbnail and we can change it by going to those three dots and choose thumbnail. Now just select something from your PC. I have this really random image just to demonstrate it to you. Then we can either choose if we want to save it as a macro or as a group. And right now I will make it as macro. In the next method I will show you the group. But basically macro is only one node and group is like a bunch of nodes. And here we can change the name. Okay, and now you have this really big list of bunch of settings. And these are basically just settings that you can find on your nodes that you used. Also here, remember to have the input of the first node and at the bottom, output of the last node. And now just basically look for things that you would normally change and select them in this panel. So for example, here on soft glow, in the future, I want to customize the gain, but also the glow size. And as you can see, those controls appear on your preview, which is on the right side. Okay, I just quickly chose all the effects from other nodes that I want to have control of. But here I will also show you on the soft glow example that first of all, here you have the default value that shows up. You can change it if you want it to be different, for example, 0.5, let's say. And here you also have minimum and maximum values that will be visible on your control. For example, if we just turn the max amount to 1, as you can see, it's perfectly in the middle. So that means you can go only to 1. So right there at the bottom, you have 3 buttons. First is separator, which is this line that you can drag. Also, of course, you can drag the things right now in the new update. You can drag them around in the viewer and position them as you want. Here you also have a nest. You can control the name of it here. Let's name it, for example, glow. And right now I will just put both of these settings into this category. Okay, as you can see, I organized everything nicely. So here I forgot to mention that you can add pages and here you can change their name. Okay, and if you're happy with the results, just click those 3 dots here. And right now, if you want this for the Fusion page, click Save As and save it to your macros folder. And also if you want it for the edit page, click 3 dots, save to edit template, and now we can choose some kind of folder, for example, effect. Okay, let's close it, disconnect all of those nodes, shift space for the select tool. And as you can see, we have our dreamy effect, we can add it. And if we did everything correctly, we can just connect it. And here we have our controls panel that we made. We can adjust the glow, the zoom blur, the chroma fuse, and also the vignette. Okay, and the same thing goes for the edit page. Basically, just go to the effects folder where we saved it. As you can see here, we have the effect and we can just simply drag and drop it onto our clip. We have exactly the same controls. The nice thing about creating macros instead of, for example, adjustment clips with power bins is that if we, for example, want the effect only on some kind of image, we can just simply drag and drop it only on that clip, and that won't affect any of clips that are below. Okay, and now the second method, because the macro editor in DaVinci Resolve 21 still isn't perfect and is still kinda buggy, I highly recommend using something like MacroLab. The link will be in the description. What you need to do, just go to DaVinci and copy all the nodes that you want to create macro from. Just hit Command or Control C. And if you didn't know, it's literally saving it in the form of code. So if you hit Command V, it will provide the code of thing that you just copied. Here we can click Start, and we have this really nice macro editor. I will leave a more detailed tutorial for the MacroLab in the description, so if you want to check it out, go ahead. But basically the idea is really similar. So here also, because the soft glow is our first node, let's select the input. And here you can also create your custom controls. To create nests, just basically select nodes and click label selection. By clicking here, you can also set the range or the allowed value. You can also change the control type from slider to screw or a checkbox, for example. Right here you can also add separators, but also things like images or custom buttons. So let's quickly add some image. So here we have our image. We can even make it a header so it's visible from every page. And now if you're ready, just give it a name. And here, as I promised, I will show you what group operator does. So at the end also let's download the file. I of course paste it in the macros folder, and now if I hit shift space, I have my dreamy effect too. Let's add this. As you can see, our image is here, our controls also are there, so we can control these. But the nice thing about the group operator is that by double clicking, you have access to all the nodes separately. So if you want to change some setting that you didn't include on the macro, you can still do this here. Okay, and that's basically it. This video took really long time to make, so I will be really happy if you could support me with thumb up and a subscription on my channel. And also, because this video is really long, if you're still here with me, just write this in comments so I'll know that you're watching till the end.